Hello and welcome back for another episode of the Hesse Bros podcast. It's your boy B Hess joining me, L Dog Luke Hesse. What is going on, Luke?
What up, y'all? Well, we got one more game this season. We're gonna get into all the action here. BS, how are you feeling about this Super Bowl? Chiefs 49ers.
I'm so fired up, baby. It's Super Bowl week. Last time we talked, we recorded it just a day after conference champions. I know I was still just elated about the Chiefs win over the Ravens. I know you were still trying to come down from that Lions game. So we've had a week to process things, a week to really get our heads into this game. I know I've been studying the film, trying to decide who I think is going to win this matchup. It's just such a tough decision for me, but I've figured it out. I'm doing a lot of research, and now I think I have the secret formula.
Oh, really? You think you know what's gonna happen in this one, BS?
Yes.
All right, what are you thinking? What do you think?
Well, let's start with the fact that it's the Chiefs versus the 49ers, okay? I mean, Patrick Mahomes versus Brock Purdy. We've got the one of the best defenses in a playoff run of all time versus a team that's allowed over 25 points in both their playoff games. We've got the guy that now has the all-time record for most receptions in the playoffs, and he just an all-time tight end versus a guy that people think's a good tight end that has two career playoff touchdowns. So it's really a tough decision. All these factors are weighing on me. But then I realized that all the good ones that I just lined up are all on the same team. And then it was obvious for me. It's the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be looking to go back to back. This was the Super Bowl last year in Arizona. They're trying to be the eighth team to go back to back Super Bowl champs. And I'm feeling like it's going to happen, baby.
Oh, that is electric, BS. And I think a few of our fans might have saw that one coming. So what do you think? What are some of the keys for the Chiefs to be able to get this dub?
Well, I mean, I think that the Chiefs are just simply the better team, but there's, of course, some keys. I think some of the biggest ones starts with Nick Bolton in the linebacking core. Got to be able to tackle McCaffrey. Got to be able to stop the run game. That is the Chiefs' weakness on the defense is maybe in the run D, especially now that two out of their five best defensive linemen throughout the course of the season will not be playing in the Super Bowl. Derek Nottie got hurt against the Dolphins, and he's been out for the rest of the playoffs. Then Charles Omenihu, unfortunately, tore his ACL against the Ravens. That's two defensive linemen out for Kansas City. They're going to have to be able to stop the run. McCaffrey, the best running back in the NFL. There's no question about that. The hot dog knows how to slither and snake through the line, and he's going to be doing that a lot. But it's going to be up to Nick Bolton and all those guys. Drew Tranquil, Willie Gay looks like he's going to be back to play. So those guys are going to have to stop the run first and foremost. The Ravens never really got a chance to establish the run. They were trailing the whole game and got scared of running the ball. But I think that the Niners are going to be scared to let their quarterback try to make plays. So they're going to have to run the ball, and they're going to have to try to lean on that instead of the pass. So I think that it's going to be the biggest key for the Chiefs is that spot exactly right there, their run defense and Nick Bolton. Then on the other side of the football, I think that the big key is just not letting Nick Bosa destroy the edges. He's a great pass rusher. He's already been talking about how he thinks the Chiefs hold a lot. He's trying to say that, he thought that on the Tyreek play and the last time these two met in the Super Bowl, that it play shouldn't have been counted because he was getting held. Whatever. It sounds like he's a big baby to me, but he is a beast. So he does need to be contained. If the Chiefs can contain him offensively, Mahomes can dice up the back end of that defense that I think is very suspect. So those are my keys right there. Nick Bolton needs to have a good game. Got to contain Nick Bosa on the other side. That's my keys. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I think this game is definitely gonna come down to the running games because these 2 secondaries are pretty solid, and the pass rushes are gonna be able to get to the quarterbacks. So I think it's gonna be whoever can establish that run, and the Chiefs' defense hasn't been able to stop the run very well all year, but neither has the Niners. We saw what the Lions did when they stuck with the run against these Niners in the first half. Pacheco's no, Gibbs and Montgomery attack here. It's no best offensive line in the league. They do have a solid offensive line, but not the rushing game that the Lions have. But they're definitely going to need to get Pacheco going early. Um, Maybe even get Clyde in there for a few carries. You never know. But definitely get that running game if they're able to get a lead. It's going to be whoever can establish that run, and that's why I think the Niners are probably going to get out to an early lead. I don't see the Chiefs defense being able to stop McCaffrey early in this game, whether it's the rushing game, whether it's screens, whatever it is. Ayuk and Debo, I don't see them doing a whole lot. They're not going to rely on Purdy. They're going to rely on McCaffrey in this running game. Shanahan knows how to run the ball, and the Chiefs, I mean, like you said, their defensive line's banged up. They do have Bolton, a great linebacker, but their running defense all season has been somewhat suspect. And McCaffrey walking in the Super Bowl, I mean, he's one of the best running backs we've seen in a long time. He's going to get his. He's going to get his touchdown probably. And hopefully the Chiefs can bounce back. I know they're going to come out with a great game plan at the start of the game, getting Kelsey involved, getting Rice involved in some screens, and probably put up points early. I can definitely see this game going somewhat like that Chiefs Ravens game went, where it's scores early and then the defenses kind of take control later in the game. You see a lot in these Chiefs games where they get points in the first half and then the second half they come out flat. Don't get a whole lot of second half points. I could definitely see something like that happening in this one. And the Niners, it's going to be a close one. It's not a walk in the park like you're saying here, BS.
Okay, so I luckily you were able to walk that statement back a little bit because I was gonna have to come out and clown you here. I know that the Lions they had an awfully impressive onside kick against the Niners, so close to converting on that at the end of the game. I mean, did you think Shanahan was that impressed? He's gonna try an onside kick in the first half. How are the Niners gonna get a big lead if Mahomes touches the football? Mahomes has scored on his opening drive his last 7 playoff games. So I'm glad you walked that back and said, yeah, actually, I think both teams will score early. Niners aren't getting out to an early lead unless they onside kick the ball. Because I promise, if Mahomes gets the ball, he's going to be fired up to get in the end zone early in this game. And Andy Reid always has a masterful game plan in the early script.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it going either way. Anything could happen. Bosa could get a sack, um, stall out one Chiefs drive. I mean, at the end of the day, it could just be one drive that makes the difference. But I do think, yeah, it'll probably be somewhat more scoring in this first half, and then in the second half, the defenses are going to get more involved. I don't see Purdy really having a good game at all, unless he just has to completely air it out if the Chiefs get out to a big lead. But I don't really see that happen. It's going to be all McCaffrey for these 49ers, and Shanahan's just going to drop a bunch of run plays against this Chiefs defense. And I mean, if McCaffrey gets going early, these Chiefs could be in some trouble because it's not going to be easy to stop once it gets later in that game either. McCaffrey, he'll be ready for 30, 35 touches if he needs to. And that's a scary sight, especially with the week's rest for the best running back in the league.
So where do you see this game being played? I'm trying to get a grasp on this. Of course, the Chiefs have allowed more than 25 points once all season. They've allowed 30 zero times all season. They just held Baltimore to 10 points in the AFC Championship game, and Baltimore had an explosive offense all season long, headlined by the MVP. Presumptively, he's going to win it, of course. But the Niners, they have been putting up points in the playoff games. They put up a lot in both their 2 playoff games. And the Bills did get into the 20s against Kansas City the week before. So where do you see this game being played at?
Yeah, I'm thinking, both teams probably put up around 14 to 17 points in the first half and then stall out a little more. I think the Niners probably end up getting it done 24-21, maybe
Oh, he's
27-24,
already making his pick, and he's
something like that. I mean, I can
are
definitely
you,
see it playing out like
you're
that.
picking the Niners, Luke.
I'm thinking Niners here. I think they barely squeak it out over the Chiefs here. And yeah, well, I'm just
How many
saying, I mean,
times do you want to be wrong about this team? Do we need to show the clip of you picking the Bills? How'd that one work out? What about when you picked the Ravens? How'd that one work out? No way
all
he's
right,
gonna
well,
save it. He's gonna fade them again.
To your point about picking the Ravens and how the Ravens only were able to get 10 points, 13 points. Well, the thing is, like, the Ravens fumbled on the 1 yard line. If McCaffrey fumbles on the 1 yard line, if Debo fumbles on the 1 yard line, yeah, the Chiefs probably win. If Purdy throws a red zone pick when they need to score, yeah, Chiefs are probably going to win. I just don't see that happening. I think Shanahan's going to call a better game than that. Keep the ball in McCaffrey's hands, and I think he's going to be able to move the sticks when they need it. And so I think the Chiefs are definitely in some trouble here as far as stopping that 49ers run attack.
Okay, well, Purdy Pumpkin is surely going to have the clock strike midnight on him. He's not going up against the Lions defense where you just have to figure out where Sutton is and throw it to that side of the field and everything's going to be all right. He's not going to going up against the Packers defense where when he tries to throw it to them, they're going to say, "Nah, it's a little too wet. I'm going to drop this ball in the pick six twice." The clock is striking on the Purdy Pumpkin. Clock striking. He is not going to be playing with those glass slippers any longer. And I think that the Chiefs defense is going to wreak havoc on Purdy. I don't see how Shanahan, you think he's going to draw up a masterful game plan when the coach that actually has the successful Super Bowl experience is on the other side. Andy Reid, the Chiefs have been in this spot so many times recently. Basically, the whole team was in the Super Bowl last year. I mean, they've got new players, obviously, but the vast majority of them are back for another year. There's a handful of players on both sides, not really that many. Just like I believe it's 8 for the Chiefs and 7 for the Niners that are back from their Super Bowl matchup 4 years ago in 2019. So it's not a heavy amount for either team, but it's some key players for the Chiefs, including, their quarterback, their tight end, and their kicker, which could be big because that Moody man, he was a little dicey in the playoffs. He has been. I just don't see where the Niners have the edges in this game at all. Like, I'm trying to think about it. Do they have the better coach? No. Do they have the better quarterback? No. Do they have the better tight end? No. Do they have the better receivers? Yes. Do they have the better running back? Yes. Do they have the better offensive line? I don't think so. They have the better left tackle, Trent Williams, but other than that, I think the Chiefs dominate the rest of the line. And then on the defense, the Chiefs have allowed less points than the Niners all season long. There are certain spots where the Niners have better defensive players. I'll give them that. But I think the Chiefs overall have the better defense. They have in the playoffs for certain. And I think they have throughout the course of the regular season by a slim margin. I just don't see where the Niners' edges are in this game that are going to be meaningful.
Yeah, well, Mahomes and Kelsey are definitely going to get theirs in this game, and like you said, they do have that chemistry. That connection is going to probably get a touchdown. Probably, definitely be able to move the ball down the field for the Chiefs when they need it. It's going to come down to if Pacheco really has a great game too. If Pacheco gets going, the Chiefs could definitely run away with this one somewhat, and make Purdy have to throw the ball a lot more, and definitely just change the scope of this game. But I really think Shanahan understands what he has in Brock Purdy, second-year quarterback. He has been playing well, but he's going up against the best secondary he's ever faced in his short, young career. And so he's going to keep the ball out of Purdy's hands and keep it with the run game. And Shanahan knows how to run the football, especially in these big spots.
So
And I
you
think
really
that's
think
that's really where the weakness lies in the Chiefs, and he's going to be able to exploit it.
You really think a team is just going to run the ball and beat Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl? I just don't. I have a hard time seeing that being enough. Even if it is successful, even if McCaffrey is averaging 5 yards a carry, even if he is chewing up the clock and limiting possessions, there's still going to be possessions that end with that's going to have negative plays. It's hard to consistently run like that unless you're just ripping off chunk yardage because it's hard to move the ball down the field at that rate when you've got Mahomes on the other side. And I think Mahomes is ready for a big game against the Bills and against the Ravens. I think both of those defenses were better than the defense that he's going to be playing here in San Francisco. This San Francisco defense has been very suspect recently in the playoffs. They had injuries throughout the season. They've got a lot of good players, but they just have not been able to be that force of havoc that they were, last time the Chiefs Niners play each other in the Super Bowl, it was the defense that was all-time great for the Niners. That was the challenge. This year, it's not. This year, the Niners are great because they have great weapons, and Purdy has done a good job of getting the ball to those weapons, whether it's his tight end, his receivers, or his running back. And the defense is good. Don't get me wrong, but all the teams that made it, to the final eight or so have great strengths everywhere. So they're on different levels of how good is good. I just don't see that being a formula to beat the Chiefs unless McCaffrey is just gashing them. But I think that there were chances for both the Lions and the Packers to get in the backfield against McCaffrey, and they missed tackles, whether it was against McCaffrey or Debo. And that's a focus of the Chiefs this week. That's why the Chiefs went to this padded practice out in the rain on Monday, because they know that the physicality is going to be a key, and they're ready to hit somebody.
Yeah, well, let's hope you're ready to hit somebody. This is the Super Bowl, so we're gonna see. You know how I think it's gonna play out as far as the Niners go, and I really just think it's gonna be tough. The Chiefs' offense is not a juggernaut. I know they have Patrick Mahomes. You think it's the same offense? They put up 27 against an absolutely depleted Bills offense or Bills defense, and then they put up 17 against the Ravens, a really good defense. I think they probably end up getting 21 or 24, and I don't know if that'll be enough to be able to win this Super Bowl. Purdy's going to be able to they're not going to just shut Purdy out of the game. I think it'll probably be like a 65% rush attack, 35% pass attack for the Niners, and he's going to be doing a lot of those short passes. Getting the ball quick to Debo, quick to Kittle, maybe hit Ayuk over the middle, whatever it may be, but get some screens to McCaffrey. Just get the ball in the playmakers and get some blockers out in front. That's all it's going to take for these Niners to move the chains. They just have so much talent on that offense, and I know you think the Chiefs defense is unbeatable because they have that great secondary, but I think Shanahan's going to be able to work around that and definitely be able to put up some points in this game.
Okay, well, that's your prediction. Here's mine. Last time these two teams played in the Super Bowl, Chiefs won 31-20, 11-point win. That was Mahomes' first Super Bowl championship. Now, this will be Mahomes' third Super Bowl championship. So that's two more. So we got to add two more to that score. Instead of winning by 11, they win by 13 this time. 27-14 is your final. Kansas City wins back-to-back Super Bowls. You heard it right here.
Well, good luck for that for you, B. Hess. Yeah, my score prediction. I'm gonna go with 27-24, 49ers. I think, the Chiefs, they're going to be able to put up points. Mahomes is going to get his, but at the end of the day, the Niners have more stars. I know they're going up against Mahomes and Kelsey and that pretty solid secondary, but outside of that, it is a lot of young players. I know a good amount of them did win the Super Bowl last year, but I think this Niners team is going to be more difficult to beat than the Eagles of last year. Hurts had a great game, but I mean, that Eagles secondary has been pretty bad for the past 2 years, and I think the Niners are going to be able to slow down Mahomes just enough and get their running game going to be able to get this W. But it's going to be a great game. Even though it's the two teams no one wanted to see, like all of America basically hates this. Vegas probably hates it too. They're probably losing out on so much more money. If it would have been Ravens or Lions, at least America would have had a team to root for. Instead, we just got to root for these stupid teams that are always here. But anyways, it'll be a good game. What bets are you looking at here in BS? Have you locked anything up yet?
Well, I've got a bunch of futures riding on the Chiefs, but I might just have to hammer them more because for some odd reason, the Chiefs are underdogs again for the third straight time in these playoffs. They're underdogs again in the Super Bowl, just like they were last year against the Eagles. It's just baffling. Why do they keep making this Mahomes guy an underdog? He's now 9-3 straight up as an underdog in his career. He's 10-1-1 against the spread. It's baffling to me. So, of course, yes, I'm all over Chiefs money line at plus money. Some other picks that I like in this game, I do agree. I like Pacheco anytime touchdown. I like Pacheco's yardage total. I think that's a good one as well. I'm definitely on the Pacheco props here in this one. I think Kelsey is going to eat. He is just going to be a focal point of the offense. He seems more fired up than ever. last week he said in this Ravens game, he said that I want this game more than any of them. And guess what he did? He came out and had a career game. He just said, I want this Super Bowl more than any of them. He said, last time we lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we were trying to win back to back. And that's been my goal ever since, is to accomplish this back to back. And now here he is, one game away. He's not going to let anything stand in his way. So I like, just go with the tried and true with the Chiefs. They've done a very simple formula in the playoffs. They've said, we're going to give the ball to our three best players, Pacheco, Kelsey, Rice. And that's what they've done. You know, we mix in a little MVS bomb from time to time, 2 against the Bills, 1 against the Ravens that were very clutch. But pretty much they're just riding with those 3 players. And why not? Because those are the 3 that Mahomes trusts. Those are the 3 that have proven it all season long. So definitely Pacheco touchdown. And then I'll take Kelsey yardage props or receptions props, any Kelsey props you want. I would be on board with that as well.
Yeah, I definitely like Kelsey in this one. Pacheco's iffy, it just depends on the game script. I feel like a lot if Mahomes needs to throw, he's going to throw. The Chiefs get out to that lead, hand it to Pacheco, get the run game going. So it's really going to come down to a lot of game script, kind of how you're feeling on that. As far as I like taking the under on these 49ers pass catchers. I really don't think they're going to rely on the pass. I think they have a couple nice props on some of these sports books for McCaffrey, like plus 130 rushing receiving yards, plus 150, get those extra boosted odds. I really think he's going to have a great game. And I think he's going to be the Super Bowl MVP if you're feeling like gambling on that too. I think it's going to be the McCaffrey day. And I think he's going to get it done. He's definitely one of the best players in the league and the best at his position. And he's been waiting for this moment for the Super Bowl his entire career. So this is, I think, when he's going to really bring his best stuff. And we've seen a lot of good from him, and I think we're going to probably see the best from him coming up here on Sunday. So I really like that. And then yeah, I think Mahomes, his under on pass yards is like 260, 265, something like that. I think under has a decent chance of hitting on that. So, and Purdy too. I think he's like 235 under on his passing yards. I think it's going to be a ground and pound game for the most part. Mahomes definitely could, break that, but I could definitely see this being more of a ground and pound type of game with these two secondaries and a little bit more lesser rush defenses.
I got a sneaky Super Bowl MVP pick. Now, I expect it to be Mahomes, of course. He's 2-time Super Bowl MVP. So there's no reason to think it won't be 3-time Super Bowl MVP by this time next week. But a sneaky one, if you're out there ready to throw a dart, Chris Stone Cold Jones, because Purdy's going to freak out a few times, whether that means he throws the ball in the air backwards or over his head backwards or whatever he likes to do. That could all help. Chris Jones could knock one out of his hands, scoop it up for a score. Could see him batting the ball up in the air. So this Chris Jones can cause some havoc against that suspect interior offensive line for the Niners. And if he comes up with an interception or a strip sack fumble or even a touchdown somehow, Chris Jones could win your Super Bowl MVP, especially with this Chiefs defense that doesn't allow more than 25 points all season long. They're going to do that again. So, the defense is going to be elite. And I like Chris Jones at 140 to 1 odds the last I saw.
Yeah, that is pretty good odds, really. Yeah, definitely could see that one hitting. If he does get that play that wins them the game, there's definitely a lot of defensive plays that can win games, and we've seen that happen in Super Bowls prior, where a big defensive play gets that Super Bowl MVP. You never know what will happen. This is the Super Bowl. It's not just the Super Bowl football. It's the Super Bowl of betting too. This is the game that gets bet on the most, throughout all of history. So I know all of our viewers are gonna be locking some good stuff here. One
Yeah, what?
interesting bet I see a lot is that octo bet, see if
Yes.
someone can get the touchdown and 2-point
I hit
conversion.
it
You think that
last
has a
year.
chance?
I bet the octopus last year at 14 to 1. I was kind of devastated when it happened at the time because Jalen Hurts tied up the game. So my buddies that bet it with me were fired up. And I was like, no, this is not the time to celebrate my 14-1 hit. After the game, it was time to celebrate the 14-1 hit. This year I saw it's down to 11-1, which makes me a little bit sick. I'm gonna have to go shop for the octo somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, get your Super Bowl squares in too. It's always a good time if you're going to a party, pull out those Super Bowl squares. It's always fun. Honestly, for me, it's the Chiefs 49ers. It's kind of stupid, so I'm gonna be locked in on those commercials more than anything.
That's
So
pathetic.
yeah, we're gonna have some good commercials popping out. It should be a great day for football. Hopefully, I mean it kind of sucks, but it's the Super Bowl, so it's gonna be awesome.
It's going to be amazing. Are you kidding me? The Chiefs are going for the biggest and best 5-year span in NFL history. If the Chiefs win this Super Bowl, it is the greatest 5-year span in NFL history. 3 Super Bowl championships, 4 Super Bowl appearances, 5 conference championship appearances. That has never been beaten in a 3-year span in NFL history. So the Chiefs are going for the records this weekend, and I see no reason why they won't get there. They're the more experienced team in these situations. They have the better players at the key positions, and they're just hungrier. They want this dub. They love all the noise. They love all the hate. They love being the underdogs. Meanwhile, the Niners are complaining about holding calls from years prior and field conditions and all sorts of nonsense, while the Chiefs are ready to attack.
Well, there you have it. Good luck to your Chiefs, BS. All I'm saying is I do not want to see Taylor Swift and Kelsey making out on that Super Bowl championship.
You'll get it. You'll get it,
Oh, that would
brother.
not be good. Oh, this trophy right there. Yeah, that would be a sore sight for my eyes, and I think for a lot of NFL fans around the country. So
Get over
I'm
it.
hoping that doesn't happen. Maybe that's influencing my pick a little bit, but whatever. It's the Super Bowl. It's going to be awesome. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yes, sir. Like, comment, subscribe on our videos. We appreciate everybody that watches Hesse Bros podcast. If you have any ideas for us in the off season, let us know. We're going to be excited to, of course, recap the Super Bowl next week, but then get into some other fun stuff throughout the year. So appreciate you joining along and fire up. Go Chiefs. You've been listening to Hesse Bros podcast. We'll see you again when the Chiefs are your Super Bowl 58 champions.